Many men feel their body becomes less responsive over time, even without obvious changes in behavior. By this point in the series, many men understand that metabolism is not simply about calories, discipline, or age. They recognize that fat gain and fatigue are often signs of deeper metabolic changes, not personal failure. The natural next question is this: if metabolic flexibility can be lost, what does it actually look like when the system is working well? A metabolically flexible system is one that adapts smoothly to changing conditions. It can store energy when food is available and release energy when food is not. It can increase energy output when demand rises and reduce it when demand falls, without creating stress or instability. In this state, the body does not feel fragile. Energy levels remain relatively stable across the day. Hunger signals are clear, gradual, and proportional rather than urgent. Fat stores are accessible when needed, rather than locked away. Metabolic flexibility is not about being lean, athletic, or highly trained. It is about responsiveness. It describes how easily the body adjusts to normal variation in intake, activity, and stress. In a flexible system, insulin rises when it should and falls when it should. Storage and release are balanced rather than competing. Energy moves where it is needed without resistance or delay. This balance allows the body to tolerate variation. Missing a meal does not cause a sharp energy crash. Physical activity does not feel excessively draining. Recovery occurs naturally, without prolonged fatigue or irritability. When the system is flexible, fat loss does not require constant effort or vigilance. It emerges as a byproduct of normal regulation, rather than something that must be forced through restriction. One of the clearest ways to recognize metabolic flexibility is how the body behaves between meals. In a healthy system, energy remains available even as insulin levels fall. Fat can be released gradually, maintaining function without triggering stress responses. In contrast, when flexibility is lost, energy drops quickly as soon as intake stops. Hunger becomes urgent rather than informative. Concentration declines. Fat remains stored but inaccessible. This contrast highlights the difference between energy availability and energy access. This distinction between availability and access is critical because it explains many experiences that otherwise feel contradictory. In a flexible system, energy availability and energy access are aligned. When the body has stored fuel, it can reach that fuel when needed. Hunger rises gradually. Energy declines slowly. Decisions remain clear. In a rigid system, availability and access become disconnected. Fuel may be abundant, but access is limited. The body experiences urgency without shortage. Hunger becomes loud even when energy stores are full. This misalignment affects behavior in subtle ways. Planning becomes harder. Consistency feels fragile. Small disruptions carry outsized consequences. The system has little margin for error. Over time, this reduces confidence. Many men feel they cannot trust their body's signals. Hunger feels unpredictable. Energy feels unreliable. This erodes motivation even when discipline remains intact. Importantly, this is not psychological weakness. It is physiological constraint. A flexible system provides buffering capacity. It absorbs variation without requiring constant correction. A rigid system amplifies variation, forcing continuous management. This buffering capacity is what allows some men to skip meals easily, tolerate stress, or remain active without conscious effort. It is not willpower. It is regulation. When flexibility is present, the body cooperates. When flexibility is lost, the body resists. Another important marker of flexibility is how the body responds to stress. In a flexible system, stress responses are temporary. Cortisol rises when needed, then returns to baseline. Insulin and energy regulation are not chronically disrupted by everyday stressors. This allows the system to recover rather than accumulate damage over time. Sleep also interacts closely with flexibility. In a flexible system, short disruptions to sleep may cause temporary fatigue, but do not derail overall regulation. Energy handling remains relatively stable, and hunger signals remain coherent. In a rigid system, the same disruption can amplify fatigue, hunger, and storage signals disproportionately. This reflects limited buffering capacity rather than weakness. Muscle tissue behaves differently as well. In a flexible metabolic state, muscle remains responsive to insulin and activity signals. Glucose disposal is efficient. Energy demand is matched by energy supply, reducing the need for excessive storage elsewhere in the body. This responsiveness supports both physical performance and metabolic stability. Importantly, metabolic flexibility does not require perfection. It does not require rigid routines, constant monitoring, or extreme discipline. It reflects a system that can adjust smoothly without excessive compensation. This is why flexibility matters more than effort. Effort can increase stress in a rigid system, while flexibility reduces the need for effort altogether. Understanding what metabolic flexibility looks like reframes the entire problem. The goal is not to force fat loss or push harder. The goal is to restore normal signaling and access to energy. When that happens, many downstream problems begin to resolve naturally. In the next video, I will explain why fat loss feels especially difficult when energy availability is low, and how fatigue and fat gain can exist at the same time. On this channel, I explain metabolism using medical science. This video is for educational purposes only. This is not medical advice. Always consult your physician.